Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To get your own very copy of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn Part 1, special edition which features extensive vocabulary, grammatical analysis, rhetorical elements, syntactical insights, Quranic linguistics, overview of verb patterns, diacritical mark reference tables, Hansware dictionary abbreviations, over 1000 word forms, then click in the link in the description below. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Welcome back to the series of stories of the prophets, where we are covering the Arab of the stories in Qasas Al-Nabiyīn. So here we have story number 14, رؤيا Ibrahim. So we can see it's quite lengthy, but inshallah we'll be going through this story today. So what we want to do is, inshallah, we want to zoom in as much as we can so we can clearly see the sentences when we are analyzing. So first and foremost, we have the title here, رؤيا. Now the word رؤيا means dream. So we can see here that the word رؤيا ends with an alif. So this word, we will deem it to be in the state of raf, but there's not going to be any tanween because this word is mudaf. So we're not going to say ru'yan, we're going to say ru'ya. So it's mudaf. And because it ends with the alif, we can't see the dhamma. So like the word Musa. So dream of Ibrahim. So ru'ya Ibrahim. And the reason why we're going to say Ibrahim is because the word Ibrahim is غير منصرف. And the two causes of it being غير منصرف, one is it's a proper noun. And those who are not familiar with what غير منصرف is basically when a word cannot accept tanween and it don't accept a kasra in the state of jar. So Ibrahim is a غير منصرف word, and one of the causes is that it's alam, it's a proper noun, and the second one is it's a non-Arabic word, it's ujma. So we're going to say رؤيا إبراهيم, because غير منصرف words in the state of jar, as it is in this case, because mudaf ilay, it's going to have a fatha without a tanween. Now moving on to the story, we got the first word wa, so it's a particle. Particles don't change in the Arabic language, so it'll remain as wa. Then we have the verb, past tense verb aada, which means returned, and past tense verbs as well. They are indeclinable, they are mabni, so they won't change as well. Next we have Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the fa'il of the verb aada. This is who returned. So Ibrahim being the fa'il is going to have a dhamma. And again, it's not going to have a tanween because it's غير منصرف. غير منصرف words don't have tanween. So Ibrahim returned. وعاد Ibrahim. Ila means to or towards. Here we'll translate as to. He returned to. And ila is a preposition. Therefore, we won't say that it's declining. It's mabniyun ala sukun. So ila. Now the word next is Makkah. Makkah is a word which is غير منصرف, same as Ibrahim. So in the state of jar, it's going to have a fatha. So we're going to say ila Makkata. And what's the two causes of the word Makkah being غير منصرف? Well, one is that it's feminine, and the second is that it's a proper noun. It's a name given to a specific place. Then we have the word ba'd, which means after. So now this signifies time. So it's ظرف, zaman, and maf'ul fi, it's one of the mansubats. It's one of those words which experience the state of nasb. So we're going to say ba'da. And these work with idafa. So it's a mudaf mudaf alayh construct. So the word mudda, which means period. So after a period of time, the word mudda is going to be in the state of jar. So that's why we're going to say muddatin. So here we have our first sentence. وعاد إبراهيم إلى مكة بعد مدة. Ibrahim returned to Mecca after a period of time. Wa means and. Now, the next verb, we have to know the verb patterns, and this is what's provided in the book. Those who purchase the book will have access to the full vocabulary of the words. Now, this is from Sami'a Yasma'u, so we're going to say laqiya. Laqiya, which means to meet or embrace. Wa laqiya, now next we have is Ismail. But how we're going to read the word Ismail? That will depend on, is it a fa'il or is it a maf'ul bihi? Well, let's look at it. It's not going to make sense that Ibrahim returned to Mecca after a period of time and Ismail met. That means that Ismail is the one who's doing the act of meeting, but we want to say he met Ismail. So that means inside the verb laqiya is the fa'il. That makes Ismail the maf'ul bihi. So that's why we're going to give you a fatha. وَلَقِيَ إِسْمَاعِيلَ, and he met Ismail. No tanween, because غير منصرف, like the word Ibrahim, and same two causes. One is its alam, proper noun, and the second one being that it's a non-Arabic word. Laqiya wa laqiya, we've already done this again. This is from Sami'a Yasma'u. And again here he met who? His wife Hajar. Now the word Hajar as well, this is going to be the maf'ul bihi. No tanween, because this word is غير منصرف. And what's the two causes? One is that it's a proper noun, and the second one is it's feminine. Okay, so Hajara. Walaqiya Hajara. Wa means and. Fariha, again, this is from Sami'a Yasma'u. So Fariha Yafrahu. It's important to know the verb patterns, because when it comes to verbs, you rely heavily on knowing the verb patterns. Because Arab gets you to the end of the word, but anything before that, it's down to how one embraces the vocabulary and how well he knows his vocabulary. So Fariha is a past tense verb. It won't decline, it remains as Fariha. Ibrahim is the fa'il, because Fariha is not a transitive verb. It's not fi'lun muta'addi, it's fi'lun lazim. It only requires a fa'il. That's a clue that Ibrahim is going to be the fa'il. So we're going to say wa Fariha Ibrahimu, and Ibrahim became happy. With who? Be means with, so it's a harful jar, mabniyun ala al-kasr. Any noun that follows on from a harful jar is going to be majroor, so we're going to say wala di. So be wala di, and he is a pronoun, mabniyun ala al-kasr. And Ibrahim became happy with his son. Now, Ismail, how we're going to read this? What are we going to say? Ismaila or lu? It's definitely not going to be Ismaili. Okay, now Ismail, let's look at what's before. So Ibrahim became happy with his son. So the reference of the son has been made and Ismail has been mentioned after. So this is known as badal and mubdal min in Arabic. Badal means substitute and mubdal min is substitute from or for. So Ismail is a substitute for walad. The reference of both of them are the same. Is the same. So they will share the same i'rab. So Ismail will follow the i'rab of the word walad, more specifically the word walad. Now the word walad is in the state of jar because of the be. Now if Ismail is following the i'rab of walad, which is in the state of jar, it being غير منصرف, in the state of jar is going to be fatha bila tanween. So we're going to say bi waladihi Ismaila. So let's read this and translate it. وَلَقِيَ إِسْمَاعِيلَ وَلَقِيَ هَاجَرَ وَفَرِحَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ بِوَلَدِهِ إِسْمَاعِيلَ. And he met Ismail alayhi salam, and he met Hajar alayha salam. وَفَرِحَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ, and Ibrahim became happy بِوَلَدِهِ, with his son Ismail. Next we have wa, which is harfu atf. So it'll remain mabni. Kana is a past tense verb, fi'lun madun naqisun. And we know that kana has a noun and a khabar. And the noun of kana is going to be marfu. So that's why Ismail, we're going to read it as Isma'ilu. It's marfu with a dhamma, no tanween, it's ghair munsarif. The next word is walad. Ismail was, walad means boy. So we're going to say waladan because the khabar of kana is mansoob. So that's why I'm saying وَكَانَ إِسْمَاعِيلُ وَلَدًا صَغِيرٌ. Why we're reading this word mansoob? The reason being is because Saghir is acting as the nat, or we could say the sifa of walad. And the sifa follows mawsuf in i'rab. So that's why we're saying waladan saghiran. Yajri, it's fi'lun mudari'un. So yajri, we're not going to give you a dhamma because it's heavy on the tongue to say yajriyu. So because of thiq, we're going to say yajri. So the dhamma is implied. So yajri means run, and wa means and. So it's mabni. It's not going to change. Yal'abu is from la'iba yal'abu. So yajri is from jara yajri, and yal'abu is from la'iba yal'abu, which means to play. So verbs, remember we said you got to know the verb pattern. So yal'abu. Okay, so we can see the fi'l mudari. There's nothing before it to govern it in any other state. So it's going to be in the default state raf. Wa yakhruju. So this is from kharaja yakhruju. The fi'l mudari is going to be marfu, so we're going to give you a dhamma. So wa yakhruju. Ma'a is maf'ul fi dharf makan, which means with, so it denotes place. So it's going to be mansub with a fatha. And this also works as idafa, that will make the next word warid as mudhaf ilayh. It's not always has to mean possession. Sometimes it's just a possessive form. So ma'a works with in a possessive way, or it adopts a possessive form. So walid is mudhaf ilayh, that's why we're going to give you a kasran. The he is a pronoun, which means his, and that's going to be mabniyun ala al-kasr. So let's read this. وَكَانَ إِسْمَاعِيلُ وَلَدًا صَغِيرًا. And Ismail was a small child, small boy. يَجْرِي, he would run. وَيَلْعَبُ, and he would play. وَيَخْرُجُ, and he would come out. مَعَ وَالِدِهِ, with his father. So that's the i'rab covered of this line. وَكَانَ, we've already done that, so we can do copy and paste on that one. We've got quite a few lines to cover. Okay, so both are mabni, so they're not going to change. Ibrahim is the noun of kana, so it's going to be Ibrahimu, because the noun of kana is marfu. Ibn ghayr munsarif, we're not going to give you a tanween, so we're going to say wakana Ibrahimu. Now the next verb is from ahabba yuhibbu, bab if'al. So yuhibbu. Again, this verb is going to be marfu because there's nothing before it from the particles of huruf nasiba or jazima, any particles that put it in the state of nasb or jazm. So we're going to read this fi'l mudari as marfu. And Ibrahim used to love. So kana before future tense verb makes it past tense continuous. Who did he used to love? Ismail. So Ismail here is going to become the maf'ul bihi. So that's why we're going to say Ismail la. Then we have the word jiddan. We've done this before as well. It means a lot or so much. And the reason why jiddan is mansub because it's considered to be maf'ul mutlaq. So it's not your normal maf'ul mutlaq where you have a verb before. For example, somebody says akaltu aklan or nasartu nasran. I helped a lot, or I ate a lot, I consumed a lot. Normally we see that maf'ul mutlaq works in a way that you have a masdar in the meaning of the verb mentioned before. In jiddan, we will say that the verb is implied. It comes to reinforce the meaning of the sentence, but it's mansub because it's maf'ul mutlaq. That's the reason why it's mansub. So وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يُحِبُّ إِسْمَاعِيلَ جِدًّا, and Ibrahim used to love Ismail a lot. Notice here the khabar of kana is from يُحِبُّ إِسْمَاعِيلَ جِدًّا, the whole sentence. So no one should get confused and say, well, the ism of kana is Ibrahim, and the khabar of kana, why isn't yuhibbu mansub? Because the khabar of kana is mansub. No. The khabar of kana is mansub, but the khabar of kana is actually the whole sentence, yuhibbu Ismaila jiddan, which is experienced in the state of nasb. The verb itself is marfu. So yuhibbu, there's no particles that govern it in the state of nasb and jazm. So the verb on its own is experienced in the state of raf. That's why we're saying yuhibbu. But the sentence as a whole, yuhibbu Ismaila jiddan, is experienced in the state of nasb because it's the khabar of kana. So no one should get confused and say this verb should have been mansub because the khabar of kana. No. Okay, so let's move a bit more down. Okay, next we got what, which means and. Then we got that. Now that here means one. Okay, and the actual zarf, the adverb of time is layla, which is night. Now, when you use the word dhata and you will say one night, dhata laylatin, the actual word dhata will take the role of the maf'ul fi zarf zaman, in this case layla, and he will take the i'rab of the zarf. So dhata we will say is naib ani zarf. It's deputizing for the zarf, which has come as the mudhaf ilayh. So dhata, it's a noun which is deputizing for the zarf. So that's why we're going to read it dhata mansub with a fatha. And because it works with idafa, so we're going to say lay latin. Lay latin. Okay, so in other words, Layla was the zarf, but because it's preceded by the word dhata, which works with idafa, and dhata takes precedence, therefore we will say dhata is naib an zarf and is mansub with a fatha, and laylatin is mudaf ilay. So it's going to have a kasra. Ra'a means saw. So here we will say ra'a is past tense verb. So it's going to be مبني على الفتح المقدر للتعذر. So we can't give the fatha and the ya because it's difficult to say ra'aya. Because of the morphological rules, it became ra'a. Ibrahim means saw. So who saw? Ibrahim saw. So ra'a Ibrahim. So Ibrahim is the fa'il. So Ibrahim saw. P is a particle, harful jar. Particles on chain, so which is mabni al sukoon. Any nouns that follows from the harful jar will be in the state of jar, so will be majroor. So we're going to say fil manami. Anna is a particle, harfun mushabbahun bi fi'lin, or you could say harfu tawkidin wa nasbin. So anna as well, it's a particle, it's not going to change, it's going to remain as anna. Who is the noun of anna? So it's experiencing the state of nasb. So it's dhamir mansub muttasil because it's attached to the particle anna, and yazbahu till the end is going to become the khabar of anna. So dhabaha yazbahu means to slaughter. So this is going to be yazbahu. And this fi'l mudari is going to be marfu with the dhamma because there's nothing before it put in any other state other than the state of raf. That he is slaughtering Ismail. So the word Ismail is becoming the maf'ul bihi of yazbahu. So Ismail ibn the maf'ul bihi, we're going to say is mansub with one fatha because it is ghayr munsarif. Now let's make sense of this in terms of tarkib as well. We'll just put a bit of spin of tarkib on this. ذات ليلة مضاف إليه will become the maf'ul fi ظرف zaman. Ra'a is the fa'il, Ibrahim is the fa'il. Fi is harful jar, al-manam is majroor. Now the harful jar majroor will become connected to the verb ra'a. Now Ibrahim saw in the dream. Now everything he saw is from annahu yazbahu Ismail, which is going to become the maf'ul bihi of ra'a. So it's not your sarih and clear-cut maf'ul bihi, it's ghayr sarih. Sometimes maf'ul bihi can come as an implicit maf'ul bihi, and this is the case. When it's anna with its ism and khabar, it becomes a part of a sentence, and the role anna here with its ism, which is the pronoun who, and the khabar, which is yazbahu Ismail, is going to become the maf'ul bihi of ra'a. So it was yazbahu, just a bit of a typo error. Again, anna, the ism of anna is the who, and the khabar is yazbahu Ismaila. The sentence yazbahu Ismail together is going to become fi mahalli raf. It's experiencing the state of raf because it's becoming the khabar of anna. So anna with its ism, its noun and khabar will become the maf'ul bihi of ra'a. So that's how you do tarkib of that. Let's read it. وَذَاتَ لَيْلَةٍ رَأَى إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنَّهُ يَذْبَحُ إِسْمَاعِيلَ. And one night Ibrahim saw in the dream that he is slaughtering Ismail. One thing to note here, he saw that he was slaughtering, not slaughtered. That's why the dream still was true. Again, wakana, we've done these, both are mabni. The first one is a particle, the next one kana is past tense verb, but it's incomplete, fi'lun madin naqisun. It has a noun, so Ibrahim is the noun of kana, so it's going to be marfu. No tanween, it's ghair munsarif, so wakana Ibrahimu. Ibrahim was Nabiyan, a prophet. So this is becoming the khabar of kana, and the khabar of kana is mansub, so we're going to say Nabiyan. But what kind of prophet? Sadiqan, true prophet, or truthful prophet. So Sadiqan. So Sadiqan is mansub because of the nat of Nabiyan. And Nabiyan was mansub because of the khabar of kana. Again, wakana, we've already done this, so we can quickly go through this. Wakana and was. Mana means dream. So it's the master of nama yanama. You could say manam as well. Or you can just translate it as manam means dream. Manamat is the plural, which means dreams. Now, how are we going to read this? Well, before it is kana. So if manam is becoming the ism of kana, it's marfu. So we're going to say wakana manamu. And the who is a pronoun. And his dream, manaman, is becoming the khabar of kana. So the second manam is a khabar of kana. So that's why we're going to say is mansub. And his dream was a dream which was sadiqan, truthful. And sadiqan is mansub because it's becoming the nat of manaman, a true dream. And his dream was a true dream. So manaman is mansub because of the khabar of kana. Sadiqan is mansub because of the nat of manaman. And nat follows man'utin i'rab. So let's read the top one actually. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ نَبِيًّا صَادِقًا وَكَانَ مَنَامُهُ مَنَامًا صَادِقًا. And Ibrahim was a true prophet and his dream was a true dream. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ, we've already done this, so we can do a copy and paste job. Okay, وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ. And Ibrahim was Khalil, which means a dear friend. So Khalil is going to become the khabar of kana, so it's going to be mansub. So we're going to say Khalila. Now, notice here we're not giving it a tanween because it's mudhaf, friend of Allah. So mudhaf don't have tanween. So Ismul Jalala is majroor with a kasra. We're not going to say the word Allah out of respect and courtesy. So Khalil Allahi. So Ismul Jalala is mudhaf ilayh. That's why we're going to majroor with a kasra. That means so. So particle mabniyun ala al-fath. Arada is a past tense verb which means intended. So it's mabniyun ala al-fath as well. And is a particle, so it's mabniyun ala sukun. Then we have the fi'l mudari after the word an. And we know an is one of those particles that put the fi'l mudari in the state of nasb. That's why we're going to say yaf'ala. An yaf'ala. That, so he intended that he carries out. Yaf'ala. Ma is ismul mawsul, it's a relative pronoun. So it's mabniyun ala sukun, it's not going to change. Amara is a past tense verb, also mabni. So we're going to say amara. And the who here is the maf'ul bihi. That which Allah commands him in the, that which Allah commanded him in the dream. So the word him is the maf'ul bihi. Ismul Jalala is the fine, Allah commanded him. Fi means in. And al-manam is the ism majroor, the noun that follows on the word from the harful jar fi, so it's going to be fil manami. So وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ خَلِيلَ اللَّهِ, and Ibrahim was the dear friend of Allah. فَأَرَادَ, so he intended أَن يَفْعَلَ, that he carries out ma, that which أَمَرَهُ اللَّهُ, Allah had commanded him fil manami, in the dream. So a bit of tarkib if you want. Kana is fi'lun naqisun. Ibrahim is the ism, Khalilullahi, mudaf ilayhi is the khabar of kana. The arada is fi'lun madin, and the fa'il is huwa, which refers to Ibrahim. Now the maf'ul bihi of ara is actually consists of an yaf'ala ma amarahu Allah fil manam. So an is harfun masdariyun, yaf'ala is the fi'l mudari, which will be interpreted in the meaning of masdar. So fa'arada فعل ما أمره الله في المنام. He intended of carrying the action of which Allah had commanded him in the dream. And ma ismul mawsul here is experienced in the state of nas because that is the maf'ul bihi of yaf'ala. And then amarahu Allah fil manam is jumlatul sila of ma. So ma amarahu Allah fil manam we could say is becoming the maf'ul bihi of yaf'ala, and then the fa'il mudari yaf'ala with the fa'il which is huwa referring back to Ibrahim, and the jumlatul sila mawsul sila, sorry, all this will become masdar mu'awwal, and it will be interpreted as masdar فأراد فعله or فعل ما أمره الله في المنام. That will become the maf'ul bihi of ara. وقال, and he said, sorry, وقال, and Ibrahim said. So wa is a particle mabniyun al-fath, qala is past tense verb, don't change, and Ibrahim is the doer. So Ibrahim is marfu with a single dhamma because ghair munsarif. So وقال Ibrahimu, Ibrahim said to who? Ismail, who was his son. The word Ismail follows on from harful jar. Because it's ghair munsarif, it's going to be fatha bila tanween. So when I'm going to say Ismailin, it's going to be Ismaila. And Ibrahim said to Ismail, what did he say? Inni, indeed, I. So the ya is inside means I. So inna is harful mushabbahun bi fi'lin, but because it follows on with the ya, it's given a kasra because of the munasaba of the ya. And this is all explained in the Arab. Those who purchase the Arab book will be able to see that. So inni, indeed I am seeing. So ra'a yara means to see. Ara means I am seeing. So ara is fi'lun mudari'un. Okay, so the fi'l mudari here, ara, will say it's fi'lun mudari'un marfu'un bid-dhammati al-muqaddarati lit-ta'azzur. What basically means is ara is a future tense verb. It's marfu with a dhamma, but the dhamma is implied, is hidden due to ta'azzur, difficulty, because it's hard to say ayu, the original form of ra'a yara. Fi is a particle, so it's mabniyun ala sukun. Al-manam is following on from the harful jar, so it's going to be fil manami. Anni, again, harfun mushabbahun bi fi'lin. Again, it's anna normally, but because it's got the ya after it, so we're going to say anni because of the munasiba of the ya. The ya is the ism of anna, and it's mabniyun ala sukun. So azbahu is fi'lun mudari'un, so we're going to say azbahu. There's nothing governing to be in any other state other than raf. I am slaughtering, kaf means you. So azbahu fi'l mudari' marfu with the dhamma. The kaf is a pronoun mabniyun al-fath. Fa means so, and it's a command. So fanzur. So ponder and reflect. What do you think? What do you see? Mada is ismu istifham mabniyun ala sukun. There's actually two words. Ma is the ismul istifham, za is ismul ishara mabniyun ala sukun, both of them. Tara, what do you see? What is your opinion? So tara, again, fi'l mudari marfu with a dhamma, but it's what implied. So ad-dhammatul muqaddaratu lit-ta'azzur, due to difficulty. So here we have it. Inni ara fil manami anni azbahuka fanzur madha tara. Surely I am seeing in the dream that I am slaughtering you. Fanzur madha tara. So reflect what is on, reflect or ponder over what you think. Okay, so that is that line done. Let's move up. Qala means said. So who's saying this now? Ismail al-Islam. What did Ismail al-Islam say? Ya. So qala is a past tense verb, mabni al-fath. Ya is a particle, harfun nida, mabni al-sukun. Abati. Now the word aba means father, and the ta here, it's in place of the ya. So originally was ya abi, oh my father. Now the ya has been omitted, and in place of the ya is a ta with a kasra. Why with a kasra? To show the suitability of the ya which has been omitted. It was ya abi. So the kasra on the ba okay, has gone on to the ta, which is in place and iwad of the mudaf ilayh. And why aba? Why not ya abiti? Why abati? Because we know that if mudaf is, sorry, if munada is mudaf, then it'll be mansoob. Like ya amir al-mu'minin. Ya amir al-mu'minin. Ya ibadallahi. So because it was a possessive phrase originally, my father, so the word now ab can bear the fatha because no longer the ya is there for it to be abi. The ya has been omitted. So now it can become ya aba. And the kasra that was on the ba has gone on to the ta. And the ta signifies the omission of the ya ul mutakallim, which means my. So ya abati. And you can't bring the substitute word and the substitute for together. So you can't say ya abati. It's either going to be ya abati or ya abi. So that's why aba is mudaf. It's sorry mansoob because it's munada mudaf. Munada is the one who has been called. If'al, okay, the hamza is eliding, so we're going to say ya abatif. And then al is fi'lu amr, so if'al, so it's mabniyun ala sukun. Carry out or do. Ma is ismul mawsul mabniyun ala sukun. That tu'maru is in the passive form, which you have been commanding. Which you have been commanded. Ais ma tu'maru bihi. Normally in the jumlatul sila you should have a pronoun referring back to the ismul mawsul. So where is the pronoun referring back to the ismul mawsul? I use ma tu'maru bihi. So what you have been commanded of. So tu'maru means you have been commanded. So it's fi'lun mudari'un marfu'un. There's nothing before it to put it in the state of nasb or jazm. The scene here is harfu istiqbal. So future tense verb. So surely you will find me to be. Okay. So scene is harfu istiqbal mabniyun ala al-fath. Tajidu is fi'lun mudari'un. So wajada yajidu. So it's going to be marfu. There's nothing before it. Seen is not a particle that governs it in nasb or jazm state. The noon here is noonul wiqaya. It protects and preserves the fi'l from retaining its original vowel. Because if noon had not been there and you was to bring the maf'ul bihi, which is the ya, it would have been sataji di. Because of the munasab and suitability of the ya, the dal would have had to have a kasra. Now the noon has protected the vowel on the fi'l mudari and it's become satajidu, and the noon has taken the kasra. So that's why it's known as the noon of protection. It protects the vowel on the verb before it at the end. Satajiduni, the ya here is maf'ul bihi, mabniyun ala sukun, a pronoun. In is a conditional particle, so mabniyun ala sukun. Sha'a is past tense verb, which means want and wish, if Allah wills. Ismul jalala is the fa'il, and minas sabirin, min is harful jar, mabniyun ala sukun, but it's going to be given a temporary kasra, sorry, fath, because you're joining onto the word as-sabirin. So it's normally mabniyun ala sukun min, but you're joining onto the next word, and that starts with a vowel with a fatha, so it's going to become minas sabi. And sabirin, this is a sound masculine plural, and sorry, yeah, sound masculine plural, and sound masculine plural words in the state of jar, the i'rab is expressed with the ina sound. So minas sabirina. So that's the vowel markings of this verse explained. قال يا أبا تفعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. He said, O my father, carry out what you have been commanded. Soon you will find me, if Allah wills, amongst the patient ones. Wa means and, akhadha means took, to get hold of, and that is, sorry, it's past tense verb, so it's mabniyun al-fath. Ibrahim is the fa'il, so Ibrahim got hold of, or took, okay, to take away. So Ibrahim is the fa'il, so Ibrahim took who? Ismail. So Ibrahim is the fa'il, marfu with a single dhamma, it's ghair munsarif, and he took away Ismail So Ismail is the maf'ul bihi, but no tanween because it's غير منصرف, so we're going to say Ismaila. Ma is adverb of place, so maf'ul fi ظرف مكان, mansub with a fatha. It works with idafa, that makes the pronoun hu mudaf ilayh, but it's mabniyun al al-fath. Wa akhadha, wa means and, akhadha means took or got hold of. It's past tense verb, and the file is inside, which is huwa, referring back to Ibrahim. Sikin means knife, and here the word sikin is acting as the maf'ul bihi, so we're going to say sikinan. Wa akhadha sikinan. So wa akhadha Ibrahimu Ismaila, and Ibrahim took Ismail ma'ahu with him, wa akhadha sikinan, and he got hold of a knife. Next we have wa, which means and, lamma means when, so both are mabni and both are indeclinable with, well, wa is indeclinable with a fath, and lamma is indeclinable with a sukun. Balagha is a past tense verb, so that is also going to be mabni. So walamma balagha, Ibrahim is the fa'il, so Ibrahim is going to be marfu with a single dhamma because it's ghair munsarif. Ibrahim mu, and where did it reach? Mina. Okay, so walamma balagha Ibrahimu minan. Okay, so it's going to be mansub with fatha muqaddara, so because it's maf'ul bihi and it'll act like the word fatan. Okay, so minan will act like the word fatan, and it'll be mansub with fatha muqaddara. Okay, so the fatha is going to be implied because the fatha should have been on the ya. Arada means intended, past tense verb. So lamma actually comes on two words, two sentences. So you have you could say the condition and the outcome. So balagha, when Ibrahim reached Mina, and then this is what happened. Arada, past tense verb. So past tense verbs, they are mabni as well. An is a particle, which means that. So mabni ala sukun. Yazbaha, fi'l mudari that follows on from an will be mansub with a fatha, so an yazbaha. And the inside yazbaha is the fa'il, which is huwa, referring back to Ibrahim. That will make Ismail the maf'ul bihi, so we're going to say Ismaila. Okay, so let's read this. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ مِنًا أَرَادَ أَنْ يَذْبَحَ إِسْمَاعِيلَ. And when Ibrahim reached Mina, which is the name of a place, he intended to slaughter Ismail. Wa means and, ittaja'a means to lie down. It's a eliding hamza, so we're not going to give you a harakat. We're going to move straight into the dad. So ittaja'a. Okay. Which means to lie down. Who lie down? Ismail lie down. So Ismail is the file, so we're going to say wattaja'a Ismailu. Ala means on. Ala mabniun ala sukun. Al-ard here we won't say earth, we'll just say the land, the ground. Okay, so wattaja'a Ismailu al-ardi. Ismail lay down on the ground. Wa arada, we've already done this. Past tense, sorry, mabniun ala sukun. Harf, arada, past tense verb, mabniun ala al-fath. Both won't change. Ibrahim is the fa'il, so Ibrahim is the one who done the action of intending, and Ibrahim intended and means that, so it's particle, mabniun ala sukun, and yazbahahu, to slaughter him. So the fi'l mudari that follows on from the an, which is nasib, is going to be mansub with a fatha. So yazbaha, and then who means him. So وَأَرَادَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ أَنْ يَذْبَحَهُ, and Ibrahim intended to slaughter him. Fa means so. Wada'a means to place. So Ibrahim is the file inside wada'a, so he placed. A sikin here is becoming the maf'ul bihi. So we're going to say a sikina. So he placed the knife. Ala means on, and it's mabniun ala sukun, it's a particle, it's not going to change. So we're going to say ala. And then the next noun is hulqum, which means throat. Hulqum means throat. It follows on from the harful jar, but we're not going to give you a tanween because we're going to say throat of Ismail. So it's mudaf. So we're going to say ala hulqumi, and Ismaila being the mudaf ilay, in the state of jar, a ghair munsarif word is going to have fatha bila tanween. So we're going to say ala hulqumi Ismaila. So فوضع السكين على حلقوم إسماعيل. So he placed the knife on the throat of Ismail. So what means and, or we can translate ولكن together as however. So both are particles, so they won't change. So it's مبني على الفتح. wa is حرف عطف, لكن is حرف مشبه بفعل. So we got ولا. Okay, let's put it there. ولكن حرف مشبه بالفعل. Now, لكن governs like inna. It's one of the sisters of inna. So that means the ism is going to be mansub. So the ismul jalala here is going to be mansub. So we're going to say ولكن الله ha. However, Allah yuhibbu is from ahabba yuhibbu. There's nothing before it to govern it in any other state. So we're going to say yuhibbu. However, Allah likes. And is a particle mabni ala sukun. It's going to put the fi'l mudari after it in the state of nasb, but we can't see the fatha here because it's difficult to pronounce the fatha. So we're going to say the fatha is implied. So an yara, the fatha is muqaddar, is assumed because of ta'azzur, is difficult to pronounce. Hal is ismu harfu istifham, not ismu istifham. Harfu istifham mabniyun ala sukun. Yaf'alu is fi'lun mudari'un. There's nothing before it to govern it in any other state other than raf. So we're going to say yaf'alu. Does he do? Sorry, Khalil is the fa'il. So does his friend do and carry out? So Khalil is becoming the fa'il of yaf'alu. So we're going to say Khalilu, and then who is a pronoun, which means his friend. So does his friend carry out? Ma is ismul mawsul, means that, which, and ya'muru, amara ya'muru, fi'l mudari, nothing before it to govern it in nasb or jazm state. So we're going to say ya'muru, and who means him, what he commands him of. So let's read this. ولكن الله يحب أن يرى هل يفعل خليله ما يأمره. However, so we don't say and, but however. Just translate ولكن together. However, Allah likes to see, does his friend carry out what he commands him of. وهل, again, particle. Both are particles, so mabniyun al-fath, the first one, and the second one, wahal, is mabniyun al-sukun. Yuhibbu, there's nothing before it to put it in the state of nasb or jazm, so we're going to say yuhibbullah, and ismul jalala is the fa'il. Wahal yuhibbullahu, sorry, here, or does he like Allah more? So the word ismul jalala here is actually acting as the maf'ul bihi. So does his friend carry out what he's been commanded of? وَهَلْ يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ, and does he love Allah? So Ismul Jalala is maf'ul bihi. The file of yuhibbu is inside. أكثر. How are we going to read this? Well, we're going to read this mansub with a fatha. Okay, why are we reading this mansub with a fatha? Because this is deputizing for the maf'ul mutlaq of yuhibbu. So in other words, the sentence reads, وَهَلْ يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ حُبًّا أَكْثَرَ, or إِحْبَابًا أَكْثَرَ. If you want to bring it according to the verb pattern, yuhibbu, you can get away with حُبًّا, because maf'ul mutlaq, you don't need to always bring the same verb pattern. You can bring, it just has to be the same meaning. So in other words, the sentence reads, وَهَلْ يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ حُبًّا أَكْثَرَ. So does he love Allah, a loving which is more? So akthar is actually the nat of the maf'ul mutlaq which has been omitted, which is hubban. So akthar is deputizing for the maf'ul mutlaq of yuhibbu. So it'll follow the i'rab of, it'll take the i'rab of the maf'ul mutlaq. So that's why it's akthara. It's mansoob with the fatha because the maf'ul mutlaq of yuhibbu. And more specifically, it's na'ib and maf'ul mutlaq. It's actually deputizing for the maf'ul mutlaq. Because akthara is the na'at of hubban, which is omitted. So does he love Allah more, or is harfu atf? So it's mabni ala sukoon. Yuhibbu, we've already done that. There's nothing before it to govern in any other state other than raf. Or does he love his son? So the word son here is going to be maf'ul bihi. Or yuhibbu nahu. So ibna, maf'ul of bihi of yuhibbu. And then hu, which means his. And akthara, we've just done that, so we can actually copy and paste that one and say akthara again. It's the sifa of the maf'ul mutlaq which has been omitted, i.e. أو يحب ابنه أو يحب ابنه حبا أكثر. Is deputizing for the maf'ul mutlaq. It's actually the sifa of the maf'ul mutlaq which has been omitted. So let's read the sentence. وهل يحب الله أكثر أو يحب ابنه أكثر. Does he love Allah more, or does he love his son more? This is part of the test. Wa means and. Najaha, which is from najaha yanjahu. Past tense verb don't change, so it's going to be najaha. Ibrahim is the fa'il, so najaha yanjahu means to succeed. So Ibrahim succeeded. So it's going to be Ibrahim mu. Fi means in, mabniun ala sukoon, and we're going to say fil imtihani. Fil imtihani, because a noun that follows on from the harful jar is going to be majroor with a kasra. So وَنَجَحَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي الْإِمْتِحَانِ, and Ibrahim succeeded in the exam. So, fa means so, it's a particle, it's harf, atf, mabniun al-fath. Arsala means sent, arsala yursilu means to send, so mabniun al-fath. Ismul Jalala is the fa'il, Allah sent. Who did Allah send? Jibreel. There's a few variations how we can read the word Jibreel, but we'll stick to this one. Jibreel. Now we're not going to say Jibrilan because the word Jibreel is ghair munsarif. One is a proper noun, second is not an Arabic word, so we're going to say Jibreel. So it's going to be maf'ul bihi mansoob with a single fatha because it's ghair munsarif. Allah sent Jibreel with, bi means with, so harful jar mabniun ala kas, and the noun that follows on from the harful jar is going to be majroor, so bikab shin, which means a ram. And where was this ram from? Minal jannati. So min is normally mabniun ala sukoon, but because the next word starts with a fatha, we're going to give that sukoon a fath. I'm going to say minal. And jannati, which means jannah, paradise, that follows on from harful jar, so we're going to say minal jannati. So let's read this. فَأَرْسَلَ اللَّهُ جِبْرِيلَ بِكَبْشٍ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ. So Allah sent Jibreel with a ram from Jannah. وَقَالَ, again, wa is a particle mabniun ala al-fath, qala past tense verb. So waqala izbah. Okay, because eliding hamza, we're going to say waqala izbah. So fi'lu amr, imperative verbs, is going to be mabniun ala sukoon. Slaughter this. Now the word hadha, it's ismul ishara, it's mabniyun ala sukoon, but that does not mean it can't experience a state. Hadha is experiencing the state of nas because it's becoming the maf'ul bihi of izbah. Slaughter this. So hadha, it's mabniun ala sukoon, but fi mahalli nasb. It's experiencing the state of nas because the maf'ul bihi of izbah. Wa is a particle of conjunction. La is prohibitive particle, not negating particle, prohibitive. So it's saying don't. Tazbah, fa'il mudari, that follows on from la nahiya, is going to be majzoom. So this fa'il mudari is majzoom because of the la, prohibitive la. Wala tazbah, and do not slaughter. Ismail is becoming the maf'ul bihi of la tazbah, so it's going to be mansoob with a single fatha because it's ghair munsarif. So wala tazbah Ismaila. So let's read this. وَقَالَ اذْبَحْ هَذَا, and he said, who said? Allah said, اذْبَحْ هَذَا, slaughter this, وَلَا تَذْبَحْ إِسْمَاعِيلَ, and do not slaughter Ismail. Wa means and, mabniun al-fath. Ahabba, past tense verb, mabniun al-fath as well. And Allah liked. So Allah is the fa'il, the action of Ibrahim. So the word action or the deed is maf'ul bihi. So it's going to be mansoob with a fatha, single fatha because mudaf, and that makes Ibrahim mudaf ilayh. Action or deed of Ibrahim. So Ibrahim. غير منصرف word in the state of jar is going to be fatha bila tanween. So he commanded. فأمر. Who commanded? Allah. So the file of amara is inside, which is huwa and refers back to Allah. So fa is a particle, mabni al-fath. Amara is a past tense verb. The al-muslimin is a sound masculine plural word. It's experiencing the state of nas because of the maf'ul bihi of amara. And sound masculine word in the state of nas is going to have the ina sound. So we are going to say فَأَمَرَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Jam'un mudhakkarun salimun words. State of nas is going to have the ina sound. So Allah commanded the Muslims of slaughtering. So B is harful jar, and the noun that follows on from the harful jar is going to majroor with the kasra. So بالذبح, when. So fi here we can translate as during, mabniun ala sukun. The noun that follows on from the harful jar is going to have a kasra. But we're not going to give you a tanween because we're saying the festival of Al-Adha. Al-Adha. So festival of sacrifice. So this word, the word Al-Adha, ends with Ismul Maqsoor. So we are not going to see the kasra on the word Al-Adha. So we're going to say that the kasra is muqaddara, like the word Musa. And the word Al-Adha is in the state of jar because mudaf ilay of Eid. And the word Eid is in the state of jar because it follows on from the harful jar, fi. So let's read this. وَأَحَبَّ اللَّهُ عَمَلَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ, and Allah liked the action of Ibrahim. فَأَمَرَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, so he commanded the Muslims بِالذَّبْحِ, of slaughtering, fi Eid al-Adha, during the Eid of sacrifice. Sallallahu ala Ibrahim al-Khalil. So let's just do this. So this is coming towards the end. Salla means may Allah send complete. Okay, may Allah send salutations upon Ibrahim, the friend, and peace. Wasallama. So salla is actually a past tense verb, and past tense verbs can be used for du'a. So someone says, "May Allah bless you." Instead of saying Allahumma barik lak, which you can say, you can use the past tense verb barakallahu feek or barakallahu lak. Why use past tense verb? Because in dua we actually want something for someone. It's as though that thing has already occurred. So someone says to another person, may Allah cure you, shafakallahu. So cure is something that someone wants. It's as though that has already happened. So that's why you say Allah has cured you, but it's invoking a blessing. So Allah is a fa'il of salah. So literally means Allah has sent salutations upon Ibrahim. But we translate it as may Allah send. So it's actually jumla du'a'iyya. So it's in the form of khabriyya, but it's in the meaning of insha'iyya because it's invoking a dua. Ala means upon, so it's mabniyun ala sukun. So ala. And Ibrahim is a ghair munsarif word which has come after harful jar. Sorry, the alif maqsura has gone on the wrong place. So there we go. Ala. And Ibrahim, like we just mentioned, it's a ghair munsarif word that follows on from a harful jar. So it's going to be majroor, but with a fatha. So Ibrahima. So may Allah send blessings upon Ibrahim. Khalil is the sifa of Ibrahim, the friend. Okay. Now we're going to say Al-Khalili, because if Al-Khalil is the sifa of Ibrahim, Ibrahim is in the state of jar. So it's going to follow the same i'rab. So this is one important point we need to note. When we say that a word follows a previous word in i'rab, it's not necessarily has to be harakat. The harakat. So Ibrahim, because ghair munsarif, it has to have a fatha in the state of jar. But Al-Khalil is not a ghair munsarif word. So that's why Al-Khalil can bear the kasra. So that's why we will say Sallallahu ala Ibrahim al-Khalili. And wa means and sallama is a past tense verb, which is from sallama yusallimu taslim, which means wasallama, yani Allah sent peace. وَسَلَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ, in other words. Sallallahu ala Ibrahim al-Khalil, وَسَلَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. We just say wasallama for short. Now again, wa is a past tense, is a particle. Sallallahu ala, we've already done that, so we can actually do copy and paste on that one. And here we are mentioning the word ibn here, so alabnihi, so the alif maqsura can be removed. And the word ibn follows on from the harful jar, that's why we say alab, and then he is a pronoun, mabniun ala kasr. Ismail, so his son Ismail. So now here, Ismail is following the Arab of ibn. So here badal has taken place, because we're referring to two entities here. Son and Ismail, reference is the same. So Ismail is following the Arab of ibni. Now ibn can take the kasra because it's not a ghair munsarif word, so that's why we're saying alabni. And Ismail, it's the badal of ibn, and badal follows mubdal min in Arab, but Ismail can't take a kasra because of ghair munsarif. So that's why we're going to say Ismaila, and wasallama we've already covered. So wasallallahu ala ibnihi Ismaila wasallama. Okay, so alhamdulillah, that is story number 14, if I can remember. It's been a long time. I think this one has been quite long. So story number 14, the Arab has been covered. And like we mentioned earlier on, if anybody wants to purchase the book, it's in the link provided. You will get the full vocabulary of all the words. So ru'ya, ru'an is the plural, which means dream. Ada ya'udu, audan, which means to return. Muddatun, plural mudadun. Laqiya yalqa. All the verbs have been given, and you will find this in the book as well. Okay, so adhatun, slaughter animal, the plural is adha. So Eid of, sacrificial animals. So you'll get the full vocabulary. And then the whole Arab is explained, which we just dictated. So the full Arab, everything that you need to know of every single word, probably even more, okay, aspects are covered. But just for the sake of keeping the video brief, we've just covered as much as we can briefly. And then we have the balagha points, so we can choose one here now today. So here, one of the balagha points we can see here that it says that Ismail al-Islam, he started with the nida, with saying Ya abati, or my father. So his, mentioned the word ab for affection and love. So in other words, he is saying to his father with affection and love, oh my father. So there's that respect factor, and he's not even shying away from the fact that, it's a great command that's been given to his father, which is to slaughter him, but still he's showing that compassion to his father and saying, oh my father. Another thing to understand here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ismail al-Islam said, if'al. Now the Sighatul Amr here is in the meaning of idhn. Now those who study Balagha will know that Amr, the command form, is actually the definition of Al-Amr is Talabul fi'li ala wajhi al-isti'la'i mal ilzam. To seek the demand an action to demand the carry out of an action from a position of authority. So there has to be a position of ala wajhi al-isti'la', i.e. authority. So Ismail Islam has no authority over Ibrahim. So can we say that this command if'al, does it fit the criteria of being amr? No, it's amr in the meaning of idhn, meaning allowance, permission. So he's not speaking from a position of authority because he can't impose anything on his father. He's actually allowing his father to carry out. So the amr here is in the meaning of idhn. Furthermore, why did Ismail Islam say ma tu'mar as opposed to saying izbahni, slaughter me? So when he said Ya abati, oh my father, he could have just said Izbahni, slaughter me. He said If'al ma tu'maru, do what you have been commanded. So by saying ma tu'maru, If'al ma tu'maru, it's actually indicating towards the reason of carrying out the action. Why? You have been commanded to do so by Allah. So by saying Izbahni, slaughter me, it would have not have the same effect of mentioning the reason why slaughter me. But by saying Ya abati if'al ma tu'maru, in this sentence construction, it's not only giving the command of slaughtering, it's also indirectly saying carry this action out because you've been commanded to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's indicating towards a sabab. So subhanallah, we can see the, you know, in the language itself, in the text, how these nuances are found. So you will find all these points of benefit, etc. In the balagha section. We've even got the nahw section as well, al-fa'ida, certain things, points of benefit that are mentioned. So we got here min as-sabirin. He did not say that you will find me to be sabiran, because when you say min as-sabirin, it has more of a pragmatic function by saying amongst the patient ones. So you will not find me patient, you'll find me amongst the patient one. There's more mubalagha saying minas sabirin as opposed to saying sabiran. So these are things that are mentioned in the Qasas Al-Nabiyīn, the special edition. If anybody is interested, there will be a link in the description. For now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To deepen your understanding of the Arabic language, explore our range of courses, including Balagha, Arabic Rhetoric, covering the 3 core disciplines of Arabic Rhetoric. The Arab course, which offers a comprehensive study of diacritical markings, and the Tarkib course, focusing on sentence structure and composition, along with many other enriching programs. To learn more, click the link in the description.